The Boeing AH-64 Apache is an American twin-turboshaft attack helicopter with a tailwheel-type landing gear arrangement and a tandem cockpit for a crew of two. It features a nose-mounted sensor suite for target acquisition and night vision systems. It is armed with a 30mm M230 chain gun carried between the main landing gear, under the aircraft's forward fuselage, and 4 hardpoints mounted on stubwing pylons for carrying armament and stores, typically a mixture of AGM-114 Hellfire missiles and Hydra 70 rocket pods. The AH-64 has significant systems redundancy to improve combat survivability. The Apache began as the Model 77 developed by Hughes Helicopters for the United States Army's Advanced Attack Helicopter program to replace the AH-1 Cobra. The prototype YAH-64 was first flown on September 30, 1975. The U.S. Army selected the YAH-64 over the Bell YAH-63 in 1976 and later approved full production in 1982. After purchasing Hughes Helicopters in 1984, McDonnell Douglas continued AH-64 production and development. The helicopter was introduced to U.S. Army service in April 1986. The advanced AH-64D Apache Longbow was delivered to the Army in March 1997. Production has been continued by Boeing Defense, Space, and Security, with over 2,400 AH-64s being produced by 2020. The U.S. Army is the primary operator of the AH-64. It has also become the primary attack helicopter of multiple nations, including Greece, Japan, Israel, the Netherlands, Singapore, and the United Arab Emirates. It has been built under license in the United Kingdom as the Augusta-Westland Apache. American AH-64s have served in conflicts in Panama, the Persian Gulf, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Israel used the Apache in its military conflicts in Lebanon and the Gaza Strip. British and Dutch Apaches have seen deployments in wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. Development: an early Hughes YAH-64 prototype with T-tail. Following the cancellation of the AH-56 Cheyenne in 1972, in favor of projects like the U.S. Air Force A-10 Thunderbolt II and the Marine Corps AV-8A Harrier, the United States Army sought an aircraft to fill an anti-armor attack role that would still be under Army command. The 1948 Key West Agreement forbade the Army from owning combat fixed-wing aircraft. The Army wanted an aircraft better than the AH-1 Cobra in firepower, performance, and range. It would have the maneuverability for terrain following nap-of-the-earth flying. To this end, the U.S. Army issued a request for proposals for the Advanced Attack Helicopter program on November 15, 1972. As a sign of the importance of this project, in September 1973 the Army designated its 5 most important projects as the Big Five, with the AAH included. Proposals were submitted by Bell, Boeing Vertol/Grumman Team, Hughes, Lockheed, and Sikorsky. In July 1973, the U.S. Department of Defense selected finalists Bell and Hughes Aircraft's Tulco Aircraft Division. This began the Phase 1 of the competition. Each company built prototype helicopters and went through a flight test program. Hughes Model 77/YAH-64A prototype first flew on September 30, 1975, while Bell's Model 409/YAH-63A prototype first flew on October 1, 1975. After evaluating the test results, the Army selected Hughes YAH-64A over Bell's YAH-63A in 1976. Reasons for selecting the YAH-64A included its more damage-tolerant 4-blade main rotor and the instability of the YAH-63's tricycle landing gear arrangement. A YAH-64A prototype in 1982. The AH-64A then entered Phase 2 of the AAH program, under which 3 pre-production AH-64s would be built. Additionally, the 2 YAH-64A flight prototypes and the ground test unit were upgraded to the same standard. Weapons and sensor systems were integrated and tested during this time, including the laser-guided AGM-114 Hellfire missile. Development of the Hellfire missile had begun in 1974, originally known by the name of helicopter-launched fire and forget missile, for the purpose of arming helicopter platforms with an effective anti-tank missile. Design: AH-64 Apache in flight. The AH-64 Apache has a 4-blade main rotor and a 4-blade tail rotor. 40. The crew sits in tandem, with the pilot sitting behind and above the co-pilot/gunner. Both crew members are capable of flying the aircraft and performing methods of weapon engagements independently. The AH-64 is powered by two General Electric T700 turboshaft engines with high-mounted exhausts on either side of the fuselage. Various models of engines have been used on the Apache, those in British service-use engines from Rolls-Royce. In 2004, General Electric Aviation began producing more powerful T700 GE701D engines, rated at 2,000 shop for AH-64DS. The crew compartment and rotor blades are designed to sustain a hit from 23mm rounds. The airframe includes some 2,500 pounds of protection and has a self-sealing fuel system to protect against ballistic projectiles. This compartment also incorporates a transparent blast shield between the pilot and gunner seats so that at least one crew member can survive in the event of a direct hit, but the canopy and windows are otherwise unrated against ballistic threats. The aircraft was designed to meet the crashworthiness requirements of MIL STD 1290, which specifies minimum requirement for crash impact energy attenuation to minimize crew injuries and fatalities. This was achieved through incorporation of increased structural strength, crash-worthy landing gear, seats, and fuel system. Avionics and targeting. The gunner's position in the AH-64D Longbow Apache. One of the revolutionary features of the Apache was its helmet-mounted display, the integrated helmet and display sighting system. Among its capabilities, either the pilot or gunner can slave the helicopter's 30mm automatic M230 chain gun to their helmet, making the gun track head movements to point where they look. The M230E1 can be alternatively fixed to a locked forward firing position, or controlled via the target acquisition and designation system. On more modern AH-64s, the TADS/PNVS has been replaced by Lockheed Martin's Arrowhead targeting system. U.S. Army engagement training is performed under the Aerial Weapons Scoring System integration with Longbow Apache Tactical Engagement Simulation System, using live 30mm and rocket ammunition as well as simulated Hellfire missiles. The Smart Onboard Data Interface module transmits Apache data to an AWSS ground station for gunnery evaluation. The AH-64 standard of performance for aerial gunnery is to achieve at least one hit for every 30 shots fired at a wheeled vehicle at a range of 800 to 1,200 m. British Apache pilot with EHADS. The AH-64 was designed to perform in frontline environments and to operate at night or day and during adverse weather conditions. Various sensors and onboard avionics allows the Apache to perform in these conditions. Such systems include the Target Acquisition and Designation System, Pilot Night Vision System, Passive Infrared Countermeasures, GPS, and the EHADS. Longbow-equipped Apaches can locate up to 256 targets simultaneously within 50 kilometers. In August 2012, 24 U.S. Army AH-64DS were equipped with the Ground Fire Acquisition System, which detects and targets ground-based weapons fire sources in all light conditions and with a 120 degrees visual field. The GFAS consists of two sensor pods working with the AH-64's other sensors and a thermographic camera that precisely locates muzzle flashes. In 2014, it was announced that new targeting and surveillance sensors were under development to provide high-resolution color imagery to crews, replacing older low-definition black and white imaging systems. Lockheed received the first contract in January 2016, upgrading the Arrowhead turret to provide higher-resolution color imaging with longer ranges and a wider field of view. In 2014, the U.S. Army was adapting its Apaches for increased maritime performance as part of the Pentagon's rebalance to the Pacific. Additional avionics and sensor improvements includes an extended-range radar capable of detecting small ships in littoral environments, software adaptations to handle maritime targets, and adding Link 16 data links for better communications with friendly assets. Armament and configurations. The AH-64 is adaptable to numerous different roles within its context as close combat attack. In addition to the 30mm M230E1 chain gun, the Apache carries a range of external stores and weapons on its stub-wing pylons, typically a mixture of AGM-114 Hellfire anti-tank missiles and Hydra 70 general-purpose unguided 70mm rockets. The Hellfire is designed to defeat stationary or moving tanks as far away as 6,500 meters. Since 2005, the Hellfire missile outfitted with a thermobaric warhead is designated AGM-114N. This missile version is intended for use against ground forces and urban warfare operations. In October 2015, the U.S. Army ordered its first batch of advanced precision kill weapon system guided 70mm rockets for the Apache. Starting in the 1980s, the Stinger and AIM-9 Sidewinder air-to-air missiles and the AGM-122 sidearm anti-radiation missile were evaluated for use upon the AH-64. The Stinger was initially selected. The U.S. Army was also considering the Starstreak air-to-air missile. External fuel tanks can also be carried on the stub wings to increase range and mission time. The stub wing pylons have mounting points for maintenance access. These mountings can also be used to secure personnel externally for emergency transport. Stinger missiles are often used on non-U.S. Apaches, as foreign forces do not have as many air superiority aircraft to control the skies. The AH-64E initially lacked the ability to use the Stinger to make room for self-defense equipment, but the capability was added back following a South Korean demand. AH-64 Apache weapon loadout. The AH-64E is able to control unmanned aerial vehicles used by the U.S. Army to perform aerial scouting missions previously performed by the OH-58 Kiowa. Apaches can request to take control of an RQ-7 Shadow or MQ-1C Gray Eagle from ground control stations to safely scout via data link communications. There are 4 levels of UAV interoperability. LOI-1 indirectly receives payload data, LOI-2 receives payload data through direct communication, LOI-3 deploys the UAV's armaments, and LOI-4 takes over flight control. UAVs can search for enemies and, if equipped with a laser designator, target them for the Apache or other friendly aircraft. Boeing has suggested that the AH-64 could be fitted with a directed energy weapon. The company has developed a small laser weapon, initially designed to engage small UAVs, that uses a high-resolution telescope to direct a 2 to 10 kilowatts beam with the diameter of a penny out to a range of 10.0 kilometers. On the Apache, the laser could be used to destroy enemy communications or radio equipment. On June 26, 2017, the Army and Raytheon announced they had successfully completed the first-ever helicopter-based flight demonstration of a high-energy laser system from an AH-64. On July 14, 2016, it was reported that the AH-64 had successfully completed testing of the MBDA Brimstone anti-armor missile. In January 2020, the U.S. Army announced it was fielding the Spike NLOS missile on AH-64E Apaches as an interim solution to acquire new munitions that provide greater standoff capabilities.